Batwing number 4, written by Judd Winnick, art by Crisscross. Not our usual Ben Oliver on this issue. Last issue left off with Thunderfall, member of the Kingdom, dying to his injuries. And he tells Batwing that the Kingdom, aka the basic Justice League of Africa, did some messed up stuff and they deserve to die. This issue picks up with Batwing. He busts into a door, burning building, and there's a woman inside who is tied up and bound to her ceiling fan. She was already killed. This is just for extra torture as her house is burning down. Batwing cuts her down, gets her out, but she's, again, already dead. Some EMTs are on site, and she's like, no, she's gone, but treat her with respect because she was Dawnfire of the Kingdom. So another of the Kingdom is dead. And the rest of this issue pretty much is just the origin story of Batwing. Like, who is he? How'd he get here? We got a little bit in that in an issue or two ago, but we're getting a bit more now. So he was brought in by a warlord named Keita, him and his brother Isaac. And basically they were really, really, really good at killing things. So they pick up 10 years ago, and they're tracking down a local other warlord, a different enemy, who is managed to make his way into a village, and he's just surrounding himself with women and children so that way nobody will dare attack him without, being a total dick about it. But I guess he underestimated this warlord who tells David and Isaac, they're like, hey, we'll go in, we'll sneak in the middle of the night, no one will even know we're there. And he's like, okay, yeah, we could do that. Or we could just open fire on them now. And he's like, no, Warlord Kato, we're not going to do that. They're women and children. And he's like, I'm your general. I say goes. I'm not letting you get away. Fire. And David stands up to him. But as the general starts choking David for insubordination, Isaac just lets loose some machine gun fire in the air, which alerts the people that they're after of their position, so they start unloading fire and they have to make a retreat. We get a one-page thing here where David is talking to, I always forget his name, his Alfred, the butler guy. We'll get to it. I know they say it later. Anyway, but he's like, would my parents be proud of me? Do you think they would be? He's like, yes, I believe they would be proud. He's like, I don't know. I did some messed up stuff. So then we go back, and the general is just beating the ever-loving crap out of Isaac, and he's like, no, you're going to die here today, because you've done me wrong. But Isaac gets his hand on a rock. He knocks out the general, is about to go for the killing blow when one of his other lieutenants steps up, slashes Isaac, and he goes tumbling off of a cliff. David manages to escape, and he goes out and hides out in the forest. Nobody can find him because he is just that good at his job, and he's like, all right, well, we'll show up eventually, and we'll just have to be ready. That night, as the general's asleep, David sneaks in, essentially chloroforms the guy, and then takes him hostage and drives him out into the desert. And basically tells him, dude, we were willing to do whatever you wanted. All you had to do was not kill the women and children. Come on, we could have just killed the guy that you wanted. And so he unloads him outside of a village, and he's like, hey, I found this guy you were looking for again after he relocated. It took me all of half a day. Would have been shorter if I had my brother, but hey, whatever. He's like, oh, so you're just going to leave me here for them? And he's like, yep. And he fires a machine gun in the air and then just leaves. And he goes to this children's home, which I guess was made for these children who were taken in by warlords, but he feels far more guilty than anyone else here because despite the fact that all these children have killed, he's killed so many more. And the Alfred's guy is Matu. So then it's the last page after all that. And he's like, yeah, I know I'm going to catch this guy who's killing the kingdom because it takes a monster to catch a monster, and I'm a monster. And that's it. That's the issue. I gotta say, really hurts to not have Ben Oliver on this one. I have always been gushing about his art, and Crisscross, he does a fine job, and because a lot of the work comes across in the coloring, it is still very good, but it's just not on the same level. And it's hard to put exactly what it is, but it's something about the eyes. I can tell you that much. But no, it's writing wise, it's an origin story. It's fine. It gives me a bit more depth to it, but it doesn't further anything really. I'm okay with it. Overall, I'm going to give it a 6.5. I'm just, I like it. I do. I really like it. But this really felt to me like they were like, oh, I don't really want, like Ben Oliver's like, okay, I have to pick one issue in order to finish up everything. I need one issue that's a fill-in. And they chose the origin story, which is fine. It's out of like the story order. That's a fine one to pick, but it's just, it makes me just like, okay, yeah, cool, great. I'm not gushing over the art the whole time. So yeah, no, 6.5, still fine, but could have been a lot better.